I hereby summon all my imps. Hey everybody, it's Annabelle. We're going through all 11 classes that came out in Hearthstone in the next upcoming patch. We are currently on Paladin. We are using 10 as the lowest ranking card, 1 as the highest ranking card. These are my opinions and how I feel on each individual card. And wow, did Paladin have a rough go at this. Paladin got some good stuff, but they also got some real weird cards. So another time for us is going to be the Daring Drake. Daring Drake is a 4-mana 4/4 rush. If you're holding a dragon, gain +1/+1. Even if this was just a 5/5 mana with rush, I doubt this would see too much play. On turn 4, there's so many different weird things that you can do on 4 nowadays that are just better than a 4/4 with rush. Just in Paladin alone, you're looking at some, you're looking at Bubble Bot. You know, you're looking at, Chillblade Champion. Chillblade Champion doesn't even see play, and it's got charge. I mean, that's the turn at which you're pulling down a true silver champion. This is basically the equivalent of a true silver champion. I mean, this is the turn at which you're playing down the Blade Master. This is the turn at which you're playing down, your Yetis. This is your turn where you're playing, Life Drinker's even an interesting card at this point, So, even if this came out as a 5/5, it's not that great on turn 4 off the rush. That's why it gets the lowest spot. Next one up for us is going to be number 9. And I'll put kind of a weird caveat on this particular one. So this is the dragon. This is Anachronos, sorry. Anachronos, and Anachronos is a 7-mana 8/8 dragon. It says battle cry, send all minions 2 turns into the future. And the caveat that I'll put on this is when the game first comes out, and in the first week or two, this card is going to be very useful. The problem is that once you get past those first couple of weeks, it becomes less useful. And the only reason that it's useful in those first couple of weeks is because people aren't going to remember or realize how this card works. So what this does is this says all your other minions, yours and your opponent, 2 turns in the future. Basically, you're kind of used as a board wipe, a mass board wipe. And in the early turn, people are going to forget that they're getting their minions back 2 turns in the future, and they're going to play extra cards down, and they're going to not have the board slots to come back, or they're going to overcommit on the other turns. But when the game gets further and further, they're just going to be like, oh, he played that card, or they played that card. I know in 2 turns I'm getting my stuff back. This is basically turn 7, do nothing. This is the same issue that we had last patch with the invitations, where everybody was going gaga over the invitations and saying how the invitations were going to break the game. And the invitations basically did nothing. I mean, it wipes your opponent's board, so it's a little bit better than invitations, but it's almost at the same point, same level as invitations were. So I think as the game goes on, this card's going to be less and less useful as people remember how to use it. Next up for us is number 8. Number 8 on our side is going to be the Time Warden. Time Warden is a 4-mana, 3/5 dragon. Until the end of your next turn, dragons you summon get Taunt and Divine Shield. By itself, it's not bad. The issue that you have with this is it's hard to have other dragons to go with this at times. And if you're playing big dragons, which are kind of the dragons that you want to, you need the mana to cast them also. Now, what helps with this is this does buff you for 1 extra turn. So you can play this down, not have the power to play, not have the mana to play a dragon, and then play, another 4 and 2 dragon, true dragon next turn on turn 6 or turn 5. And this also does work on summons, so, it's not the end of the world. So things that just pop off out of somewhere still work. So you don't have to play them hardcast. But if you don't have the dragons to follow this up, or you don't have the dragons in your hand right now, it's not a powerful 4-cost card. And there's going to be times where you just don't have that follow-up. And you're going to basically be afraid to play this. Next one up for us is number 7. Number 7 is the other legendary, unfortunately, which is the Blood Monarch, and she is a 2-mana 3/2 that says after you summon a minion with less attack than this, give it Divine Shield and Rush. Now, the funny part about this is your recruits that you get are lower attack than this. And if you can have this live for a turn, you can start pumping this. And when you start pumping this, this becomes a powerhouse. When you have this have, 5 attack, 6 attack, 7 attack. You can summon something with a 5/5 and then it's got Divine Shield and Rush. But the issue with that is the fact that as soon as this comes down on the field, it's getting the biggest bullseye on it. So you basically have to be at the point where this has some sort of power behind it, some sort of defense behind it, or you're playing other stuff that helps you out on this side. There are some buff cards for Paladin, of course. You can, I mean, there are some, there's a card in Paladin right now called Righteous Defense. If you play Righteous Defense and you have her in your hand, and you catch something big off her Righteous Defense. You put her down on 2, and you can basically drop whatever else you want to, and it's all going to have Russian Divine Shield. Problem is, again, finding that particular right instance to play her. You know, if you get her when she's good, but if you don't have the other stuff to be with her, you don't want to just play her as a 2. And that's why she ended up being so low on the list, is because there's so many things around her. Next up for us is number 6. Number 6 is the Blood Crusader. Blood Crusader is a 6 mana 5/5 that says battle cry. Your next Paladin minion this turn costs health instead of mana. You've got to be really careful, and I mean 100% really careful every single time that you put something into the game where instead of spending mana, you can spend health for Paladin, for Demon Hunter, for Warrior, for any class. Now, there are some things that kind of keep this in check. The fact that it has to be a Paladin minion, and the fact that it's only for this turn, so it's not every single turn. But the fact that you can cheat out some heavy stuff, even in just Paladin, because you can, you know, as long as you don't die, you know, it doesn't matter what you cheat out. I mean, there's some stuff that, you know, everybody just likes to cheat out, you know. You're talking your Countess, you play this on 6, you drop Countess right after this. This brings out Countess a turn early. Yeah, you lose 7 health, but you get Countess for free, you know. And it's not just the first minion, it's as many minions. You can play your Cariel, you can play your Fordring, you can play your Rhinoros even, which would be funny. I mean, there's some other, like, cheaper cards that aren't the worst things in the world to see Paladin drop on this. You know, all of a sudden you have, you know, a Sunfish that just comes out of nowhere for 0. I mean, you only wasted 3 health, but you get a Sunfish, you know. That's going to protect us even. You know, you don't always have to go with the highest, most ridiculously cost minion out there. But even something like Cariel, which hasn't seen play, could drop into this. You know, drop this, drop the Cariel. There's nothing wrong with doing any of that, you know. Yeah, you don't want to drop ones, but there's even ones that make sense with this, you know. You know, save up some of your hand and then just drop some ones, you know, get a Noble Sacrifice down, a Righteous Protector, you know, you don't feel bad about losing a Righteous, 1 health for a Righteous Protector or a Noble Sacrifice. So you gotta be real careful about anything that you get off of this. The problem is again, you have to go heavy into Paladin on this. And it has to be in your hand on that turn when you drop it down. And you have to be on 6. So that's a lot of you has to in order to actually get this to work. Which is why it ends up being number 6. Number 5 for us is Seal of Blood. Seal of Blood is a 3 mana holy spell for Paladin that says give a minion +3/+3 in Divine Shield, deal 3 damage to your hero. I mean, 3 mana. You're almost at the point of Blessing of Kings. Blessing of Kings is 4 mana. I mean, Blessing of Kings, this is basically Blessing of Kings for 1 less mana, and all of the downside of it is that you have to take 3 damage to your hero. This even might be better than Blessings of Kings because of the Divine Shield. You know, giving something +4/+4 as opposed to giving something +3/+3 in Divine Shield. You'd have to figure out which is better in the long run, but Divine Shield means that it's going to at least take 2 trades, almost no matter what happens. That's worth taking 3 damage to your hero, trust me. Especially in Paladin, where you can heal a lot of that back up. And that's number 5 for us. So now we're getting into number 4. Number 4 is Feast and Famine. Feast and Famine is a 1 mana Paladin spell that says give your hero 3 attack this turn. Mana thirst 4, which means that if you have 4 crystals, if you're on turn 4, you have 4 crystals. You don't need to have them all unlocked. You don't have to play this right off the bat. You can play like 3 mana and this on turn 4. Then the lifesteal comes in. There's a Shaman spell for 1 mana. Which is called... Sorry, it's 2 mana. I lied about that. So there's a Shaman spell for 2 mana called Rockbiter Weapon. Rockbiter Weapon gives you 3 attack. This is 1 less than Rockbiter Weapon. And can give you lifesteal. Now, the nice thing about Rockbiter Weapon is you can throw it onto a minion, where the only place that you can throw this onto is your hero. But that is like the slimmest restriction that I've ever seen. You know, to take something that, you know, it's going to give you +3 attack and lifesteal and have it cost 1, it's going to see play. Getting to turn 4 is not that hard, you know. That's not late game at all. And that's number 4 for us. So now we're getting into the 3rd card. So this is where our bronze medal comes in. The 3rd card for us is the Flight of the Bronze. Flight of the Bronze is a 1 mana card. And it says discover a dragon, mana thirst 7, summon a 5/5 with taunt. There was, back in the day, a lackey that used to discover you a dragon, and it saw play because it discovered you a dragon. Discovering a dragon is one of the best discovers that you can get. Assuming that you don't get the amalgam. You know, and you're just glad that you're discovering a dragon. You get to turn 7, you summon a 5/5, that's just gravy. Next up for us is our Silver Star. That is going to be the Sanguine Soldier. Sanguine Soldier is a 1 mana 2/1 Divine Shield. Battle cry, deal 2 damage to your hero. Right now in Warlock, for 1 mana, you will often see your good old Flamin'. this is probably as good, if not better, than a Flame Imp. And that's mostly due to the Divine Shield. It's taking 2 trades. It's sticking for a turn. And Flame Imp deals 3 to you. This deals 2 to you. So Flame Imp sees play. I think this is going to see play because that Divine Shield is a lot better than having +1/+1 stats, which is what Imp has. And the number 1 card for us is for Kalkulas. It is a 2-mana holy spell for Paladin. This is give friendly minions +3 attack and give your hero +2 attack this turn. This is Savage Roar. This is simply Savage Roar. Just for Paladin. It's 1 less than Savage Roar. It gives all of your minions +1 more attack than Savage Roar did. So I'm trying to see where the downside is when you cost 1 less than Savage Roar. And you give +1 more attack to all your minions. And yes, Paladins can go wide. So I definitely see this card seeing play for a wide Paladin. You know, you ever been scared about, Paladin with Savage Roar? Well, now they have it. And it costs 1 less. And there's really no other downside behind this. I mean, it's for 1 minion, but, that's a scary minion. That minion's trading in. That minion's, so maybe the more apt card to give this over to than Savage Roar, because Savage Roar would do the entire board. Would most likely be, what is it? With an old card. Was it? It's an old card. It was just called Goblin Prank, which gave a friendly minion +3/+3 in rush, and it died at the end of the turn. So maybe the more apt card to compare this to would be the Goblin Prank, but it's the same mana as Goblin Prank is, plus it gives your hero +2 attack, and the minion doesn't die at the end. And all it loses is the +3 defense. So, I mean, I see this seeing play as, it's going to help you trade for that 1 minion, and it's just going to be an end swing sometimes. And there's really no downside behind it. So Paladin has some really, weird things that I don't know where they're going to fall into. And I got a couple, neat gems. So I think Paladin will be, interesting to play. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember, play for fun.